Hi everyone, welcome back to our channel. If you are new here, then this is going to be the perfect place for you, where we share some interview experiences and where we discuss about some job related updates and many more. So without any further delay, let's get started. In today's video, I'll share another interview experience of TCS Ninja. So I'll start with the very first question, that is, can you briefly introduce yourself and your background? So you have to introduce yourself first, and then you have to explain about your background, like about your schooling, your college, your courses and certifications, your hobbies. Followed by the next one, why did you choose this particular career path or field of study? आप क्यों आईटी कंपनीज में ज्वाइन करना चाहते हो, स्पेशली आप आईटी फील्ड में क्यों आना चाहते हो, उसके अकॉर्डिंग आप इसका आंसर कर सकते हैं. Now the third question is, how do you usually prepare for technical interviews? आप टेक्निकल इंटरव्यूज से पहले आपका प्रिपरेशन कैसे लेते हैं? लाइक आपने अगर कोई यूट्यूब चैनल फॉलो किया है, अगर आपने ऑनलाइन कोई वेबसाइट फॉलो किया है, या आपने कोई मेंटर का हेल्प लिया है, अकॉर्डिंग टू दैट यू हैव टू आंसर. नाउ द नेक्स्ट क्वेश्चन इज, व्हाट आर सम ऑफ योर स्ट्रेंथ्स एंड वीकनेसेस? आप आपके स्ट्रेंथ्स एंड वीकनेसेस के बारे में एक्सप्लेन कीजिए, एंड अलॉन्ग विद दैट पर्टिकुलरली फॉर योर वीकनेसेस, आप उसको ओवरकम करने के लिए कौन सा एफर्ट दिया है, या कौन सा एफर्ट या कौन सा स्टेप इन फ्यूचर आप लेना चाहते हैं, आप थोड़ा वो भी एक्सप्लेन कर सकते हैं. तो इंटरव्यू के सामने आपका एक अच्छा इम्प्रेशन क्रिएट होगा. Now the next question is, describe a time when you faced a major challenge at your work or school, and how did you deal with it? Basically it's your personal experience, so you have to answer accordingly. Now the next question is, how do you manage stress and tight deadlines in your work? And the question number 7 is, what motivates you to stay productive and deliver high quality results? So these kind of questions are HR based. Basically you have to answer this kind of questions, like it completely depends upon you, like how do you answer this kind of questions, or how would you tackle this kind of questions. So थोड़ा सा प्रिपेयर करके जाइए before your interview. Now I will discuss some technical questions, like what is the difference between SQL and NoSQL database, and when would you use each? So SQL database is a relational database that use structured query language, that is SQL, for defining and manipulating data. They use tables with fixed schemas. And NoSQL database is a non-relational databases that store data in various format, like key value pair. They are schema-less and designed for scalability. Followed by the next one, explain how you would optimize a slow running SQL query. To optimize a slow running SQL query, you have to follow some steps, like first of all you have to analyze the query plan. Secondly, you have to find out the indexes, and then you have to use some joins and subqueries, and so on. So these are the steps that you have to follow to optimize a slow running SQL query. Followed by the next one, what is normalization and why it is important in database design? So normalization is a process of organizing a dataset to reduce redundancy and dependency by dividing data into related tables. And the importance of the normalization is it reduces the data redundancy that I have explained earlier, and it enhances data integrity. Along with that, it improves query performance for structured datasets. So this is all about normalization and its importance. Followed by the next one, what is the purpose of CSS in web development? So CSS stands for Cascading Style Sheets. It is used to style and lay out web pages, including defining colors, fonts and spacing. It creates responsive designs and it controls the layout. Now moving back to the next question, how would you ensure the responsiveness of a website? To ensure the responsiveness of the website, you have to use flexible grid layouts, relative units, and media queries. Secondly, you have to design for smaller screens first and then you have to scale it up. Thirdly, you have to use some tools to test on multiple devices and screen sizes. Followed by the next one, what are some advantages of using JavaScript frameworks like React or Angular over vanilla JavaScript? So basically what you have to do, you have to explain some advantages of JavaScript framework. It is easier to reuse and manage UI components. Secondly, it has some built-in libraries and utilities, streamline coding. And thirdly, it supports for web, mobile and desktop apps. What are web APIs and how do they help in front-end development? So web APIs are some interfaces provided by web browsers or external services to interact with resources. And some of the benefits of web APIs are they enable asynchronous communication with servers. It simplifies integration of external services and it enhances interactivity like handling user inputs dynamically. Now followed by the next one, how do you handle form validation in front-end development? To handle form validation in front-end development, we have to use HTML5 attributes like required, pattern, and secondly, we have to provide some instant feedback for better UX. Thirdly, you have to use some libraries like Formic or Yup. So these are the ways to handle form validation in front-end development. Moving back to the next question, what is object-oriented programming and can you explain its core principles? So object-oriented programming is a language that uses objects in a programming and it has four four pillars or four principles. They are abstraction, encapsulation, inheritance and polymorphism. If you want, then you can explain these four principles by using some example. Now followed by the next one, what is the difference between an abstract class and interface? So abstract class can have both abstract and concrete methods. It allows inheritance of shared codes. It supports fields and constructors. On the other hand, interface declares methods. It focuses on defining a contract for behavior and it supports multiple implementations. Now followed by the next question, what is the significance of solid principles in software engineering? So A stands for single responsibility principle, O stands for open or closed principle, L stands for Liskov substitution principle, I stands for interface segregation principle and D stands for dependency inversion principle. Followed by the next one, can you explain what version control is and why it's important in software development? So version control is a system that manages changes to file, code or projects over time. It allows multiple people to work on a project simultaneously, keeps a history of changes and it provides a way to revert to previous version if needed. In software development, it ensures collaboration, prevents code conflicts and helps maintain project history, making debugging and project scaling easier. Now moving back to the next question, What is the difference between vertical and horizontal scaling in databases? Now, the next question is, how do you ensure data consistency and integrity in a multi-user environment? So, we can able to ensure data consistency and data integrity by using transaction that ensures operation are atomic, consistent, isolated and durable. Like I'm talking about that asset properties. And along with that, we can able to use locks and concurrency controls and validation and constants. Now the next question is, can you describe a time when you had to work on a project with limited resources and how did you approach it? And second one is, how do you prioritize your task when working under pressure? Again, these two questions are HR based. Now followed by the next question, if you were asked to design a web application from scratch, what are the steps would you take? So the steps are requirement gathering, architecture planning, designing, development, testing, deployment and maintenance. Followed by the next one, that is the last question, how would you explain the concept of object oriented programming to someone with no technical background? So you can able to explain this concept of object oriented programming by using an example of organizing a recipe book. Like each recipe is an object with the ingredients, that is data, and steps are the methods. Instead of writing every recipes from the scratch, you can create templates, that is classes, and you can reuse them for similar recipes. So it will make managing and updating the book easier. So this is how you can able to explain it. So that's it for today guys. I hope it will be helpful for you guys who are willing to join TCS, particularly for this ninja role. So don't forget to subscribe to our channel. If you like this video, then give it a thumbs up and share your own interview experience in the comment section. I'll see you in the next one.